Okay, so we're here with our pyrosim. Now I guess we can do the flip conversion. So again, I'm just gonna walk through the steps here again, so we can just see if it all still works. So you can see this already starts taking quite a longer time because of course we have a higher resolution pyrosim now, and it's a much bigger bounding box as well. As you can see, this takes a little bit. Okay, so it finished computing, and there's definitely something wrong here, because if I middle mouse on my points from volume, you see we have 463 million points, which is a little bit more than we can work with. So yeah, I guess let's have a look at what we can actually do with that, because this is not gonna work with just that many points. So I'm gonna press escape. All right. So yeah, we have this thing, and that's also, I mean, it's 5 gigabytes for this frame. What we can see here is it makes a way too big bounding box. So I have a look at this, and then to my pyro, it's not really what we want. So I think there's probably some stuff going on here where there's some values that have, so let's do density. All right, so we have density here just from our pyro. So let's see where our stuff is coming from. Okay, wait, I'm gonna put this in here. Density, non-selected. Okay, so this is our density. Let's have a look in our thing. Okay, so let's just have a look at our points from volume, because what we have is not really usable. All right, let's just try plugging it into just our density. Let's see what that does. Okay, for some reason it starts to calculate our sim, which we don't want. All right, density, let's try that again. I didn't have that issue in my original scene, so just need to figure out where that's coming from. Okay, so there's still quite a lot of points. I'd say we probably want to downsample this whole thing, because we don't really want to input this amount of points into the sim. It's just going to be too heavy. All right, so let's build a downsampling thing. I did have that also in my original thing. Okay, so just need to think, where are we going to put it? Let's just put it on the DOP network. It's probably going to be the easiest. So on our DOP network, let's make a edit parameter interface. Let's make a float, and let's call this downsample. Okay, so now we have a downsample vector there. And let's say we want to downsample something by 3. So we're going to copy parameter. And we're going to go to our points here. We're going to say this thing times the downsample. And remember, because this is how lower it is, the more points we get. If we up our downsample, and this is going to be lighter. So let's have a look. Yeah, so you can already see. So now we only left with 3 million points, which is probably better. let's just walk through our thing, see how that looks like. So it still works. It's going to take a little bit. Remember, now it needs to build the bounding box. Oh, before we do that, let's cancel. Let's just have a look at how big it's making this bounding box comparison to our pyro. Okay, what I am going to do probably is, you can see we have some random stuff going on down there, which we don't really need. So some optimizations that we can probably do. So let's just do it on, let's try it on this thing first. Let's go to the side view. Let's open up our grid view. Let's say that if, okay, so let's do a volume wrangle. Let's put it in between here. Let's turn off auto update. Let's connect all these to this thing. Right, and let's say that if at p.y is below, let's say 0, then at density equals 0. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, so then we get rid of the stuff down there. So again, like we could use this wrangle to sort of trim down whatever there. You can see there's still some stuff going on here, but that's because that part isn't in the density. You could probably also do is maybe say that maybe we only want to do it over there. We only want to do it there. Let's see how far we can trim it. Okay, 0 should be fine. So that should probably already help. So let's go to point from volume. Okay, so now we don't have these random points down there. All right, that's looking better. Okay, now we need to use this downsample on our other parts as well. So also on the VDB and in the flip simulation. So let's go in here, voxel size times downsample. Let's also do it in our flip. And again, later we can still upsample this. Times the references, right? So now this should all propagate a little bit faster. Oh, and we don't want to flip sim. Let's do it on, let's check frame 35. So that one. Extracting the attributes pretty fast. Build the volume pretty fast. So we'll look at the solution. So interestingly enough, which is kind of weird, is that our resolution, even though we downsampled this thing, is higher than whatever we had. So that's peculiar. It's something I didn't have in on my original scene, so that's interesting to see. Anyway, so let's just have a look at how this turns out. My original thing, I think I downsampled it by like 25% or something. Right. So look. Let's get a visualization. Let's make it down there. also paste it on here. I can sort of compare. Oh yeah, so of course we have this rebuild thing. Probably also need to say that we want to also use our downsample there. Let's have a look what that does. For some reason, sometimes Houdini will just start cooking random things that it doesn't need to cook, because I just don't get why it's trying to do that, because there's nothing it should cook. So let's just turn off this simulation. All right, let's just try another frame. You can see this whole thing is quite slow. That's why the rebuilding down the line just takes a lot longer. We're not getting exactly what we want here. Let's have a look why. Let's plug this one in there again. Oh yeah, of course we did, because we were doing it on just the density, so we don't get the proper volume. All right, so sorry guys, I'm gonna leave all this stuff in, because this is issues where you're gonna run into when you're doing this yourself as well. Right, so now I think when we do this, it should look pretty good. All right, let's try. You can see the good thing about doing Houdini is that you're gonna have a lot of time to drink coffee, because you're constantly waiting for stuff like this. Of course, if you're doing actual simulation in the studio, you can probably send it to the farm. But I mean, when you're working this stuff, you're just still gonna be waiting a lot. And the thing is, like, I mean, computers get faster and faster, but instead of your work getting faster, what you generally just end up doing is just making heavier simulations and heavier setups. I mean, it's never going to get faster. All right, so anyway, so I mean, right now we have something that actually works quite okay. So yeah, okay, so this whole thing now took a little bit longer than I'd expected for this part of the tutorial, but that's all fine and dandy. So we're still gonna use this wrangle here that we have. So yeah, I guess we can delete this. Okay, so we're gonna cache this whole thing. So what you need to do is we need to cache our flip simulation, and we need to cache our where is it? Our rebuild. But for this thing, what I am going to do is I'm going to use a lower resolution sim for this. So I'm going to do another sim, an extra part, because as I mentioned before, this entire sim process takes quite a long time. So I don't want that. So I'm gonna turn down my pyro, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how you can run this whole thing in one go. So let's go to the smoke object. Let's make this division size let's make it 0.2. So it's probably better. Now let's first run our pyro, and then we're gonna look in our flip, and then we're gonna show you how you can run the whole thing in one go.